Welcome back to the Forensics Unplugged channel, sister channel to the Forensics Detailing channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm going to bring you in on some of the dirty donkey work that we have to do on this channel. And the donkey work is like the prep for videos. Before I do, I just have to let you know I finish polishing the side of this car, which is great. And that top bit and the roof and the bonnet and the other side. So bumpers, both bumpers to do, hood, tailgate, whatever you want to call it. And then tomorrow I just do those two, that rear quarter thing. I've done that, I've done that bit. I've just got to do door and rear quarter panel. That's all I'll do tomorrow, just like an hour of polishing. And then break it down that way. And then really what I'm doing now is preparing for the all-purpose cleaner test. Now, the lineup is now closed. We have 13 products. I've had to go and fabricate some more test panels, so I'm just waiting on those to be made, mild steel and aluminium. So I'm doing the donkey work. What have we got in the lineup? We've got the Sonax Multi-Star, Koch Chemie Green Star, Gion APC, Autosmart G101, Carchem, All Clean, sorry, Car Pro Multi-X, Surfex HD, Built Hamber, G-Technic Multi-Purpose Cleaner, Bud WT, Auto Finesse Verso, Auto Glands Infinite. It's different colours, like brownie at the top and then purpley at the bottom. It's quite a funny colour, but it's kind of cool. It look good on a shelf with a light behind it. Valet Pro All-Purpose Cleaner, classic all-purpose cleaner. Meguiar's All-Purpose Cleaner. And HDD Grime Zero, so all-purpose cleaner. Yeah, all-purpose cleaner. So lots of interesting discussions I had with you guys in the last video where I was just talking about how I'm going to score it all and should I test stuff on certain surfaces, and the instructions and the surface suitability were really something that was really interesting to me, because there's flaws in lots of them and I've been going through them, but I'm going to do it all properly, because like all-purpose cleaner, so if I'm pointing at the Meguiar's one, I could point at this one, anyone, all-purpose, that you buy this product and what is it suitable for? Well, if it says all-purpose cleaner, it should be for any purpose. So that would mean like cleaning leather. That would mean like cleaning of any surface in a car, because it's all purpose. But then some say multi-purpose and they have like a exclusion, don't use it on leather. So is that an APC? No, it's an MPC. And that's not a mobile personnel carrier. So we've got the difference between multi-purpose cleaner, like they've used here, and all-purpose cleaner. And quite interesting. So I think a few brands have thought about this, and that's why they call them multi-purpose, because they're not all-purpose, because there's exclusions. Now, for example, with these three products here, there's no exclusions, and they're called, well, I don't know, I think they're called all-purpose cleaners, but this talks about universal cleaning. This talks about you can clean any interior surface with no exclusions. Although this one's called, well, that's an all-purpose cleaner, Multi-Star. Anyway, it gets complicated. And also, where there's an exclusion, for example, where G-Technic says don't use it on leather, should I test it on leather just to see what happens? And, you know, we have to caveat in the video, well, don't use this product on leather. So this result here, if it's bad, well, it tells you not to use it on leather. If it's good, still don't use it on leather, because it says don't use it on leather. They know better than we do, you know, why not to? So I don't know, that's a little thing for me, but I don't know if that's fair or not. You know, that's what's going through my head. So if it says don't use it on leather, should I maybe perhaps omit it from that particular test, or just put it as a default fail because it's not suitable for usage? That might be a way of doing it. But then again, if it passes and it's good, you could say, well, look, perhaps avoid using it on leather, but if you accidentally spray it on your leather, it's not going to do any harm. So, but you have to tread carefully because, like I say, you don't want to misrepresent the products. Now, I've gone through, and what I've done is with these, I want to find the 5 litre prices. So I've gone through and found the nearest 5 litre prices. There's some complexity because Geon is 4 litres, so I had to do a conversion. CarPro 4 litres, had to do a conversion. Green Star, you buy 10 litres of it, so that had to do a downward conversion, which favours it a little bit, but there's no way around that. The only way you could upscale, I suppose, the 1 litre, that wouldn't be fair. So that's the only fair way to do that. The rest of them, that's 5 litres, that's 5 litres, they're all 5 litres. Meg's APC is like 3.87 or whatever it is. So I've done the conversion there. And there you can see like the cheapest first gets 13 points. So like, gives you an idea. The cheapest one, Surf X HD, 18.95 for 5 litres. Most expensive, CarPro, £62.43. Converted 5 litre price from their 4 litre offering. So yeah, that gives you our range, and our market average is 33.82. So if you're paying more than 33.82 for 5 litres of APC, you're paying more than average. You know, there's a big difference, isn't there? That's more than 3 times the price. And you've got to consider concentrations as well, haven't you? For example, that one can only be used at 1 to 10. That's it. That's all the instructions say. Not dilute up to 1 to 10. It's dilute product 1 to 10 on the directions. That's it. So it doesn't matter what you're cleaning, you use that at 1 to 10. And normally you want to use a lower concentration if you're cleaning something like leather and just want to give it a wipe down. Or if you're degreasing an engine bay and you've got thick grease, you can tend to use them neat. I can't with this product because it says use at 1 to 10. So I have to follow the directions. So that creates me problems doing cross comparisons. So I've been thinking about all of this. Some products like this, for example, where you can only use them 1 to 10, whereas a product like this, or the Autoglands one, that one you can use up to 1 to 200. So you can really crunch some more value out of it by just decanting a little bit and making tons of lightweight cleaner for just wiping dashboards and wiping over your centre console and your leather seats and stuff. So, you know, I almost think companies need to pay real close attention to their directions, because they can cause limiting factors. Now, Valet Pro might say, oh yeah, but you can knock it down to 1 to 50, you know, if you want to do light cleaning with it, or 1 to 13, it'd be fine. But it doesn't say it on the bottle. Same with like the Auto Finesse. You've got, you know, different dilute to soup. You've got 2 to 1 up to 5 to 1. You know, for exterior, and then 1 to 10 for interior. So 1 to 10 for interior versus 1 to 100 for interior, you know. So concentration is important because it really affects value for money. What I'm doing right now is test number 1, price. So I'll create a sheet of paper for each product. We'll list our price per litre there. It's ranking, so it's, you know, it's 10th most expensive, so it only gets 4 points. We'll do that for all of the products. After that, I'm going to do surface suitability. So I'll do it, if it's suitable for every single surface with no restrictions, then it probably gets 10 marks. You know, something like that, it's a full pass. So all the ones that you can use on every single surface get 10 marks. This one, for example, you can't use it on leather, you can't use it on aluminium, uncoated aluminium, anodized surfaces, iridium coatings, touch screens, or leather. I love the fact it tells you, I really do. So their instructions are good, but I can't use it on leather, which is something that I like to be able to do with an APC. The reason you can't is it's strong stuff, you know. It's got the sodium hydroxide warning on it, corrosive on the back of it. I mean, they don't pull their blows. They're very good at telling you all the information, you know. Yeah, and still problems around Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner. Ideal for cleaning interior surfaces with fabric softeners to enhance luxurious results. Well, all-purpose cleaner, but then it confused me by saying ideal for cleaning interior surfaces. But on the instructions, it makes no mention of using it to clean like tyres, to use it as a squirt it on your panels in winter before the snow foam goes on. Gives me high strength, medium strength. Doesn't give me a light strength. It's just test on a small surface. Apply directly to the surface. Agitate or clean with a terry cloth. And using a fresh towel, absorb the excess. Well, you're not going to use that. You're not going to do that if you're using it as like an APC that you put underneath your snow foam. You're going to spray it on and rinse it, which you might want to do on a all-purpose cleaner. So I sort of, this reads to me as an interior all-purpose cleaner, but it doesn't rule out exterior. So I've got a lot of confusion with the Meguiar's products in my head from reading the instructions. I've gone through 2 of these before in the past, and I know it's a good product, and I know I can clean my alloy wheels with it. I know I can wipe my tyres down with it, but I've got to take that out of the equation and just go on the instructions. And I would rewrite that label for this product if I was Meguiar's. I know they've got a heavy duty degreaser that you're supposed to use to do engine bays and stuff like that, but all-purpose cleaner, that should be one of its functions, or else it's not an all-purpose cleaner. It's an interior all-purpose cleaner. So you see where I'm going with it. You could almost say the HDD one, Grime Zero, all-purpose cleaner, highly concentrated for heavy duty cleaning, etc. This one's almost like the opposite, because even though it says all-purpose cleaner, heavy duty degreaser, directions for use. Hold on, I can't read this, I've got my glasses on. Use a trigger spray, pump sprayer or foaming pump sprayer after applying your product. I can't read with my glasses. Your desired amount depending on your cleaning task. Lightly soil cleaning 25 to 1, 50 to 1, heavy cleaning 5 to 1 up to 20 to 1. But it doesn't give you really proper directions, because if you use it with a trigger sprayer, say, after applying your desired amount depending upon your cleaning task. But it doesn't say remove it, you know, like wipe it off after use or rinse off after use, because surfactants aren't supposed to stay on the surface. Now, you might think that's being pedantic, but if you sprayed this on your leather at quite a strong concentration that was within its usage recommendation, you left it there and it left white residue over it, and then you complained and said, look, I sprayed this on, the first thing they'd say is, well, did you wipe it off? No, I didn't. Well, why didn't you? Because it doesn't say to you on the instructions. And HDD would probably think, well, you're really stupid. But that person could say, well, I don't know anything about these products, so I just follow the instructions. And if they had damaged something and they could prove they'd followed the instructions, then it would be the fault of the product and not the fault of the end user. So instructions are really important. Yeah, and some of them instruct you to use them, like put them on a surface, agitate and wipe off. Okay, some of them instruct you to put them on the surface, maybe agitate and rinse off, because they're thinking of the exterior application. But some of them that have really thought about it, like Sonax, for example, says like rinse it off if you're, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but rinse it off if you're using it on the outside. But if you're using it like on the inside, use a damp microfiber cloth and wipe off any residues. So they thought about the different types of usages, and the instructions cover it. And I've noticed the difference between the ones that cover it in the instructions and the ones that don't. So we'll have, as well as marking on surface suitability, we will mark separately on the quality of the instructions. And if I follow the instructions to the letter, could it leave surfactant there because they're not giving me adequate instructions? And could that cause adverse results potentially? So we're going to be really going to town on these and being really pedantic, because when you've got products that we know are all going to work, if you don't get pedantic with them and like really pick holes in them, you're not going to be able to do a good comparison. So we're looking for excellence as well as passing these tests that we're going to do, testing them on mild steel for corrosion, testing on aluminium, testing on polycarb, testing on leather, testing them in carpet extraction, testing them on the dirt simulators, tyres, testing out the residue, wetting ability, testing if we let the residues dry on them at a consistent ratio that's within a usage. So we'd probably go 1 to 10 for all of them, because that's a valid ratio for all of them. And that restricts us really, because it'd have to be 1 to 10. Then we try and let those residues dry for a few hours, simulating misuse, and then try and pre-rinse them off at low pressure, see which residues come off and see which ones stain and can't easily be removed on clear coat. So that's probably what we'll do for the residue test. And we'll measure the pH as well. Not that it's that important, but we'll measure pH raw. There's no point in diluting them all down, because one, then we'd have to dilute them to the same, or we wouldn't get a consistent benchmark, and it will just make them all closer if we dilute them down. So we'll give you the pH as they are in the bottle, but pH doesn't really tell us much. For example, a pH 12.5 might be milder than a pH 9, and the pH 9 could be more caustic. Depends what's being used. So pH, people often don't understand pH, and they say, well, John, this is pH 12, that means it's going to strip waxes. I want something that's pH 9, so it strips it a bit less. It doesn't work like that. I've said that many times. I said that 6 years ago. Still dumb, but still knew that much. But yeah, so there we go. So if we move down to our next product, I've got all these little squares that you're looking at here. These are automotive spec, unembossed. So if it's in focus, leather with paint and top coat, and it's fresh. It's fresh leather. It's not been taken out of an old seat. So I want to see, we'll put probably 1 milliliter of product on there and cover it over with a swab stick to form like a even film. So if we don't pull it and it like runs off, we'll just put an even film of 1 mil over each of them and then leave them to dry and look at the residues, see if if we get leather transfer, and see if those residues wipe off with just water. So that will be our leather suitability testing. Yeah, really interesting. Choice of materials used is important. Do you want a really potent caustic one? Do you want a really mild safe one? Do you want a really cheap one? Do you want one that's safest on the most surfaces? Do you want one that smells nice? I think we just want an APC cleaner that doesn't stain, because that's probably one of the issues I've had with all-purpose cleaners, is when I'm doing the interiors and I really load up with it, you think you've wiped it all down, you get like a run come out of somewhere where it's pooled and it like runs down, and then like you've got a white line where that liquid's run because it was too like concentrated and too foamy. And they can be difficult in certain plastics, they can embed, and that little stain you can't like polish it out because it's on like a bit of vinyl or something with an embossment pattern. So the residue test is quite important. Ability to wet out is very important. A surfactant needs to lower surface tension. That's its first thing, or else you're not going to be able to wet out the surface properly, especially on the exterior of the car. If it's a high surface tension surfactant, it's just going to run off the car and not soak in. You want it to be low surface tension, spread, and that way the chemical will kind of work better. So that's something we need to test. We could test the ability for them to emulsify as well, but that's perhaps getting too technical, really. Foaming, we're probably not too interested in foaming levels, but I know some of them foam like crazy. Some of them don't foam that well. This stuff's very foamy. I remember that. I mean, I went through a few of these, like 2, I think, and I thought this was a good product. This one, this has to be in there. But yeah, interesting. And I don't know. I mean, like, you think like Built Hammer would be the hot favourite. It's the cheapest. It's one of the most concentrated, and I know it's very, very powerful. But I've got to take my sort of preconceptions about it, because I use it, out of the equation a little bit, and try and just test these completely neutrally. You know, take any preconceived ideas about the product out of my head, let the scoring do the work, and see which one wins. And sometimes one wins and I'll say, yeah, this is one, fair enough, it's the winner. But my personal favourite is this, you know, this is the one I'd buy, which I sometimes do. So there we go. I've got all these bottles so that I can mix them out and use exactly the same spray triggers in all of them, so that, you know, when we use them, we get the same experience with them, because none of them come with spray triggers, I think. Don't quote me on that, but they won't if they're 5 litres. So I'm trying to think about everything here. This should be a really good test, actually. And the field is very good. The field is very good. What am I looking for? I always look for high concentration. I look for the product to really be effective. And I do, you know how I roll, but I'd mark favourably for value for money as well. Because when you're coughing up for these products, if you've got one product that performs really well and it costs 20 quid for 5 litres, and you've got another product that performs well, just as well, but it costs 60 quid, it's really hard to justify that extra money, because it's not a little bit, that's a lot of money difference. And whenever we do these comparisons, the cheapest product compared to the most expensive, the price difference is vast. So yeah, we've also ruled out using ready to use, because any ready to use APC won't stand a chance, because I could literally, you know, create 10 times the amount of APC by having a concentrate, maybe even more. So I'm not interested personally with ready to use APCs. I know other people are, but I can't cater for everything. And it would just be a lamb to the slaughter in this test. So there's going to be no ready to use APCs in this particular test. I also can't include any more products now, because I have all the test bottles, I have all the test pieces, and I'm just getting the extra bits fabricated, and I'm not going to go through that process again of fabricating more. So that is that. Let me know your thoughts, guys. I'm going to turn the camera off now, fill out all these sheets for all the various products, although I'm running out of time today. I've got to go and pick the little one up, which is the important thing. So take care, see you soon, bye for now.